My name is Esther Nyapendi, and I work with WOUGNET, Women of Uganda Network, as the Technical Support Officer.
My name is Nabakoza Slivia, a fourth-year student at Makerere University, pursuing a bachelor's degree in journalism and communication.
My name is Isaac Amuku, and I work with Women of Uganda Network as a monitoring and evaluation officer.
From a research that WOUGNET carried out in 2021 to assess the types, the forms, the causes and spread of online gender-based violence, the research found out that there are three commonly found forms of online gender-based violence. The first one is the psychological stroke emotional violence, and this type of violence manifests in different types. To mention, the first one is cyberbullying, we have body shaming, we have doxing, and in this case, information of an individual is, shared without their consent. Another type of online gender-based violence under the psychological stroke emotional violence is the trolling, where perpetrators use hashtags, to tag individuals, and this infringes on their freedom of expression. And so the second form of online gender-based violence is the online sexual violence. And this type of violence is an act of behavior where a perpetrator attacks, the sexuality of an individual. And most of the times women fall victim from this type of violence because of the fact that they are women. And this type of violence manifests in different types. For instance, the non-consensual distribution of intimate images, which is a common type of online gender-based violence that we have witnessed. And for the third form of online gender-based violence is the socio-economical violence. And this type of violence is where an individual uses malicious intent to target an individual's economical position. The most common type of ways in which this violence manifests is the online fraud.
Well, we all know that taking legal proceedings is a bit expensive. So most university girls are not financially capable of pursuing legal proceedings, and therefore they decide to keep quiet about it because they cannot afford the costs. In most cases, victims of cyberbullying are blamed for their situation, and therefore they decide to keep quiet about it and lose confidence in the reporting system. Most university girls are not aware of their rights. Therefore, they can't know if they are cyberbullied or not, and if they know, they don't know how to go about it legally.
A few of the preventive measures that we can use to tackle online gender-based violence include the digital security and literacy training, and these are skills that can help individuals safely navigate on the internet. The second one is, strengthening the implementation of laws and policies. For instance, the Computer Misuse Act, the Anti-Pornography Act 2019. And the other is engaging tech companies, internet service providers, and online platforms to come up with measures to combat online gender-based violence. Lastly, personal responsibility, and with this, an individual is supposed to be conscious of the information that they post online.
As Women of Uganda Network, what we think should be done to counter online gender-based violence in Uganda and Africa as a whole, one is to build the capacity of policymakers to ensure that they are able to integrate online gender-based violence into some of the digitalization or the ICT policies that we have. And then, of course, we are advocating for more awareness raising to the communities who are affected, so that if they are faced with online gender-based violence, they are able to report to the police, they are able to report to, the tech companies who actually, develop these technologies where we are seeing a lot of online gender-based violence happening. And then, of course, we are also advocating for, one, ensuring that the policies that we have, they are gender sensitive.
The universities can organize awareness campaigns about responsible internet use and respective online behaviors. The universities can implement a confidential and accessible cyberbullying reporting system, and it can be in form of helplines. They can establish clear policies that prohibit cyberbullying, for example, clearly outlining the consequences for the offenders.
In terms of online gender-based violence, several organizations have been able to do research to try to understand what exactly online gender-based violence is, who are the affected people, and how can we actually work together to solve the problem. And then we have also seen a lot of capacity building training, especially for the affected or the survivors of OGBV, that is both men and women. And in this capacity building, many organizations are doing training on digital safety, and then security, and then of course also general digital literacy. And then we have also seen the building capacity for policy makers to be able to integrate some of the issues, for example, the forms of online gender-based violence, how can we prevent it, who are some of the partners we can work with. And then of course we have also seen a lot of collaboration from both the private sector, the government entities, and then of course the civil society organizations trying to come together and work to ensure that they prevent online gender-based violence, not only in Uganda, but in Africa as a whole. Just to mention a few, we have had this work being done in Uganda, Kenya, South Africa, and in the West African countries as well.